Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and Roel. Peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. All right, this lesson, we're going to read a couple articles just to show you that things are really heating up. All right, we're definitely in the end. All right, so this is an article. It says it's on RT News. Russia warns United States not to play with fire in Syria. Lavrov. Russia's foreign minister, Slovakia, is the latest official to warn the United States against using a possible chemical weapons provocation to justify a new strike against Syrian forces. He said Moscow warned the West not to play with fire in Syria. Sergei Lavrov reiterated the warning that a staged chemical weapons attack in Syria's Idlib province may trigger a U.S.-led attack on the forces loyal to Damascus. A new provocation is being prepared by the West to hamper the anti-terrorist operation in Idlib, Lavrov said during a joint media conference with his Syrian counterpart Walid Mu'alem. We have facts on the table and have issued a strong warning to our Western partners through our defense ministry and our foreign ministry not to play with fire. Earlier, the Russian military reported that a group of militants in Syria was preparing a provocation in which chlorine gas would be used to frame the Syrian government forces. The incident would be used by the U.S. and its allies to justify a new attack against the country, similar to what happened in April, according to the claim. Amid international tensions, Russia has launched a massive naval exercise in the Mediterranean Sea, which involves 25 ships and 30 aircraft, including Tu-160 strategic bombers. The U.S. earlier stated that it would retaliate to a possible chemical attack by the Syrian government using more firepower than it did in April. The previous tripartite strike by the U.S., the U.K., and France targeted what they called sites involved in chemical weapons research. It came in response to an alleged use of an improvised chlorine bomb against a military-held area. Russia insists that the incident had been staged with the goal of triggering the Western response. All right, so they're trying to get to war because America knows that America being the United States, they know that their economy is on its last leg, man, that their economy is collapsing. And just like last time, the way they're going to try to get out of it and revive their economy is by going to war. All right, but in this war, in this World War III, that's clearly fastly approaching, because these countries aren't going to put up with the United States shit any longer, man. All right, they're going to act eventually, man. All right, and you can tell that these tensions are clearly getting to be too much for these other countries. All right, they're done putting up with America's bullshit. All right, and they're doing these false flags to try and, justify what they do. All right, and World War III is clearly at the door. All right. Press on this other article here. U.S. and allies can have missiles ready to strike Syria within 24 hours, Russian Foreign Ministry. It will take the United States and its allies just 24 hours to ready its missile strike group for an attack against Syria, the Russian Foreign Ministry said. The statement comes amid warnings of a possible false flag chemical attack. The coalition strike group has around 70 delivered vehicles deployed to the Middle East, and ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova told reporters at her news briefing on Thursday. The arsenal includes nearly 380 cruise missiles and U.S. Navy missile destroyers Carney and Ross deployed to the region, each carrying 28 Tomahawk cruise missiles. Earlier, the Pentagon denied Moscow's claim that Washington was building up military forces in the region. One of the United States warships, USS the Sullivans, left the Persian Gulf after media reports about an increased American military presence in the area, according to Zakharova. While rejecting news of its growing presence in the region, the United States military forgot to mention that they can build up missile capabilities to strike Syria in just 24 hours. The strike group of the United States, France, and the UK currently consists of planes, strategic and tactical aircraft, and bases in Jordan, Kuwait, Krati Zakharova said. Moscow has repeatedly warned that a false flag chemical weapons attack is being planned in Syria's Idlib province to frame Damascus and use as a pretext for a new strike. 8 canisters of chlorine were delivered to a village near Jasir al-Shaghur city, and a group of militants trained in the handling of chemical weapons by the British private military contractor Olive Group arrived in the area, according to Defense Ministry. On Wednesday, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that the planned provocation is aimed only at preventing the expulsion of terrorists from the de-escalation zone in Idlib. He also accused the United States of trying to get rid of another dissident regime in Syria, as was the case in Iraq and Libya. How much longer do you think these countries are going to put up with the United States bullshit, man? They're not going to put up with it much longer, right? And clearly we can see that war is day by day getting more and more, evident that it's happening. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right? Being World War III. All right? And America, obviously wants to go to war, and these other countries, the only reason they're so hesitant is because they know it's going to end in somebody getting blown to hell. That's why. Because they know that nuclear war is going to end in somebody getting blown and completely obliterated to hell. All right? Which is just a phrase, but nonetheless. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And you can see race wars and world wars, all these different tensions growing vastly. And there shall be famines and pestilences. There's been a new article of STDs on a massive scale going out in the United States. All sorts of different diseases popping up. There's been a hell of a lot of earthquakes, man. And earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. All right, we're just talking about the elect, because some of the elect will be martyrs. All right, the people in this truth. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Which a lot of them, like these different religions have already done that. Some of these other Israelite camps, because you got to have the doctrine, man, okay, which is with GMS and people that teach similar doctrine, whether you want to accept that or not, all right, because they're the true men that follow Yahweh by Shemel Shai, all right. But that could also be talking about these false prophets could also be celebrities, because people idolize them and will follow them with all their heart and soul. All right, and they're definitely pushing for these Mark of the Beast, which is the RFID NFC microchip implant. They're definitely pushing for that to be, advertised, and they've gradually been bringing that into the equation for a long time now. All right, and it's only a matter of time before they do some sort of false flag or something to get people to take the chip. All right, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right, so we got to endure and push through these tribulations, because it's the worst time that's about to come onto the planet. And iniquity is going to abound, and the love of many is going to wax cold, meaning a lot of people aren't going to regard your damn feelings, man. Your emotions, they're not going to give a shit about that. All right? There's going to be people that the famines are going to be so bad that people may try to kill you just to eat you, man. All right? They don't care about your feelings. All right, that's the times that we're coming into, man. Very scary, but yet beautiful times. Why are they beautiful? Because it's the end of Esau and the beginning of Jacob. All right, we're going to come into our kingdom. 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so we're in Esau's end and the beginning of Jacob. All right, so it's going to be terrible times, but it's also beautiful because we know that this has to pass, and we know that we're closer than ever to the kingdom. All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 16, I'll start at verse 12. The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof, the sea ariseth up waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. Right? Nuclear missiles are going to shake the earth to and fro like a drunkard. Right? And it talks about a scroll being rolled up. You know, the heavens being rolled up like a scroll. It's talking about a mushroom cloud. All right. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows, which arrows are another thing for saying missiles, that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. And let me just, for truth's sake, okay, that's not. Yeah, that's probably the best one we get. See the arrow. It's got a pointy top, all right, and it's got a wider base, all right. Now let's look up a missile. Because remember, they had to describe it the best they could, man. Does that not look pretty much like the same thing? That's a modern day arrow, just like the modern day sword is a gun, all right. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. So somebody shoots an arrow like an archery, it's not going to just start going back once it's already going forward. All right, once it's in forward motion, it's not just going to stop and turn around or go in reverse. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? All right, and if you're not on the good side of Yahweh Shema Shai, all right, then who's going to deliver you? Nobody, all right? So you got to, Lord willing, we're part of the elect, but it's very serious times we're coming into, man. It's not a game, all right? This isn't a joke. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? All right, and this is the exact time that we're in. I'm going to read on. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. All right, and I'm going to stop there, because that's talking about how all this stuff is going on, but people still aren't going to stop being wicked. They're not going to repent and come back to Yahweh by Shema Shai, and I'm talking about the Israelites. All right, and they're also not going to acknowledge things happening. Like most of the people, they are completely oblivious to what's going on, and the news blocks out a lot of these things. All right, the news will probably report something about a cat being stuck in a tree before they talk about the fact that America is collapsing at a very rapid pace. All right. So, the point is pretty much made. With that said, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah Quadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessing and salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. All right, keep pushing, endure. Shalom.